Hey gang, and welcome back. Just a reminder, you can now use the promo code MTGMudsta, all caps, at flipsidegaming.com. You'll get 10% off orders over $10 and help with the channel at the same time. Back at it again. This time we've got new players, a new store, new decks, the new angle. My goodness, could anything else be new? I'm also playing my new Trostani deck, and I keep an opener with Wall of Omens, Wood Elves, 2 Plains, Sun Titan, and Nylea. Adam, who is new to the channel, and not to be confused with Evil Adam, or the other Adam, or the other Adam, is playing his Nezahal deck, and keeps a hand with an Island, a Remote Isle, Homeward Path, Ponder, Bidon of Thassa, Hedron Archive, and Dreamstone Hedron. Liz is playing her Rakdos deck, and keeps a hand with 2 Swamps, 2 Mountain, Temple of the False God, Terminate, and Artisan of Kozilek. Lastly, Eric is playing his Experiment Kraj deck, and keeps an Island, a Forest, a Ghost Quarter, a Temple of Mystery, Beast Within, and Kadama's Reach. Eric wins the die roll and starts us off. Eric plays a Temple of Mystery, scrying 1 and keeping it on top. Adam plays Remote Isle tapped and passes. I play a Plains and I pass my turn. Liz plays a Swamp and also passes. Eric plays a Forest and passes. Adam decides to switch it up and plays an Island before casting Ponder. He chooses to shuffle and then draws a card. I play Tectonic Edge, tapping it to cast a Soul Ring. I then use the Soul Ring and my Plains to cast a Wall of Omens to draw a card. Liz plays a Mountain and passes turn. Eric plays an Island and casts Kadama's Reach. He grabs one of each of his basics and has the Force hit the field while putting the Island to his hand. Adam plays a Homeward Path before paying 2 to multi-kick his Everflowing Chalice. Adam then passes turn. I play a Plains and pass turn. Liz plays a Swamp and also passes, and I comment on how our side of the table is better than the other side because our turns don't involve things like shuffling and they're over quite quickly. Eric casts an Archivist in his main phase before playing his Simic Growth Chamber. He bounces a Forest back to his hand and passes turn. Adam plays a Temple of the False God, which won't actually tap for anything currently, and pays 4 to cast a Hedron Archive. I play my 3rd Plains because who really needs forests, and passes. Liz double checks the worry on Homeward Path and is very glad she didn't play her Dragon Lord Silumgar deck. Liz plays a Mountain for her land for turn and casts a Foily Trenchworm. Eric plays an Island for his turn and taps out to cast his General, Experiment Kraj. Adam plays an Island, which turns on his Temple, but not in that way, and he casts more ramp in the form of Dreamstone Hedron. Adam then passes turn. I draw and play a Reliquary Tower because at this point I might as well be playing mono white, and I cast a Sun Titan who gets eaten by the glare. Liz plays a Swamp and swings Trenchworm at Adam for 3. She then casts Rakdos and doesn't want to cast anything, so she passes to Eric. At the end of her turn, Eric taps the Archivist to draw a card. Adam responds by casting Brainstorm, and the 2 blue players end up drawing a card. Eric plays a Forest for his turn and casts a Thornlane, and Adam and Liz decide to see who has the better jazz hands. Eric then passes, and at the end of Eric's turn, Adam casts Factor Fixating targeting Eric. Eric then makes 2 piles, and Adam decides to bin the pile with Rogue's Passage and Merchant Scroll. Adam pays 7 in his main phase to cast Nezahal. He then casts Rhystic Study to maximize his card advantage, and passes turn. I play a Rogue's Passage as my land for turn, and I sacrifice my Tectonic Edge to destroy Adam's Temple of the False God. I then pay 2 to cast Altar of Dementia, paying the 1 extra for the study, but Adam does get to draw for Nezahal. Eric suggests I swing at him, and I take him up on that. He has his Thornlane become indestructible, and I return my Tectonic Edge with my Sun Titan trigger, while my Sun Titan just kinda bounces off the green blocker, and I pass to Liz. Liz plays her own copy of Temple of the False God, which Adam says I have to blow up in fairness. Because of this, Liz decides that I need to get acquainted with Rakdos and hits me for 6. She then casts Kakusha in her 2nd main phase, only paying 2 black, but does have to pay the 1 extra for the study. At the end of Liz's turn, Eric puts a +1/+1 counter on Thornlane. He then taps his Archivist to draw a card and starts his own turn. Eric plays a Forest and casts an Ivy Lane Denizen. He then casts a Whisper of the Wilds, not paying for the study trigger. This triggers the Denizen, and he puts a +1/+1 counter on the Whisperer. Eric then passes turn. Adam pays 5 in his main phase to cast Corrupted Conscience, targeting Kakusho. He happily steals the dragon, also giving it Infect because why not, and Liz tries to tempt it back to her side. Adam then swings Nezahal at Liz, who takes the hit. I draw for my turn, but since it's a green card and my cup does not overfloweth with green mana, I move to combat. At the beginning of my combat step, Liz casts Terminate targeting Nezahal. Adam counters it by casting Remand to bounce removal back to her hand, and draws both from Nezahal trigger and from Remand. I then swing the Sun Titan at Adam for 6, who takes the full hit, and I pass to Liz. Liz drops a Mountain for her land for turn, and activates her Trenchworm to destroy Adam's Remote Isle. Adam floats a blue in response, and Liz passes turn. At the end of Liz's turn, Eric activates Kraj to put a counter on the Archivist, and taps the Archivist to draw a card. Eric plays a Ghost Quarter for his land for turn, and pays to cast a Fertilid. This triggers the Ivy Lane Denizen, and Eric gives the Fertilid one more counter for good measure. Eric then casts Explosive Vegetation, paying the 1 extra for the study, and Adam draws from Nezahal. Eric goes and grabs 2 basics, and he passes to Adam. Adam, despite having only 4 lands, has a surprising amount of mana, and starts his turn off by casting a Serum Visions. He draws a card, and bottoms both of the scries. Adam then moves to combat, and swings Kakusho at Eric. Eric decides now is the time to cast Beast Within, and targets the Cryptic Conscience. Adam gets to draw from Nezahal because of Beast Within being put on the stack, and he casts Dream Fracture to counter the spell. Adam and Eric both draw a card, and Kakusho then deals 5 infect damage to Eric. In his second main phase, Adam casts a Commander's Sphere, followed by a Worn Power Stone to keep the mana flowing. For my turn, I draw some action finally, and I cast a Mimic Vat, letting Adam draw 2. I then sacrifice Sun Titan to the Altar of Dementia, and exile it with the Mimic Vat. I then pay 3 to bring Sun Titan out, and return a Force to the field with his Enter the Battlefield trigger. Paying 3, I then cast Wood Elves, and can't afford to pay for the Study trigger, letting Adam draw another. I grab a Temple Garden, taking 2 to have it come into play untapped. Moving to combat, I swing the Sun Titan token at Adam, who triggers on attack to bring back my Blade of Selves. Adam blocks with Nezahal, and I choose to sacrifice the token, like the original, to the altar and mill myself for a further 6. I do hit a Riftstone portal, which all but fixes my land woes, and I pass to Liz. Liz plays a mountain and casts a Felwar Stone, paying 1 extra for the study, and Adam draws from Nezahal. Liz then passes turn, and at the end of turn, Eric draws with the Archivist. Eric casts a Rishkar's Expertise in his main phase, a card I need to buy about 1 billion more copies of, it's just that good, and draws 5 cards. Adam also draws from the study Nezahal, and Eric forgets to cast something for free, ouch, and instead pays to cast Mind Over Matter to help deal with Kakusho. Adam draws from the study and Nezahal triggers, and counters it with the classic counterspell. Eric is now in deep trouble as his board cannot interact with the Flying Infect, and so he does the only rational thing a person can do, which is swing everything at Adam. Adam blocks Thornloon with Nezahal, and takes 12, after Eric gives Kraj +1/-1 with the Thornloon ability. Eric then passes turn, and at the end of turn, Liz tries to buy some good karma with Eric by casting Terminate once more, but this time she targets Kakusho. Adam draws from the spell being cast, and gains 15 life as Kakusho dies. Unfortunately for Eric, Adam has drawn the only other Infect card he has, Grafted Exoskeleton, which comes into play. Adam then gears up Nezahal, and plays an island. Moving to combat, Adam swings Nezahal at Eric, dealing a lethal amount of poison damage. And with nothing to do in his second main phase, Adam passes to me. I play Gavany Township as my land for turn, and I make a Sun Titan token with the Mimic Vat. I use the Enter the Battlefield trigger to bring back the plains, and I equip my Blade of Selves onto my Sun Titan token. I then sacrifice Wood Elves to mill myself for 1, and move to combat. I swing the Vat token at Adam, and the blade creates another token swinging at Liz. This gives me 2 Sun Titan triggers, 1 from attacking and 1 from the token entering, and I bring back V2 Gazi Guildmage and my Wood Elves. I grab a forest with the Wood Elves, while Liz and Adam each take 6 from their respective Sun Titan, and before leaving the combat step, I sacrifice the Blade token to mill myself for another 6. I then populate the Mimic Vat token with the Guildmage and gain another Sun Titan trigger as the token hits the field. I bring back Fortified Village and sacrifice the Mimic Vat token to mill Adam for 6. Liz plays a mountain and swings Rakdos at me for 6 in the air. I take another 6 commander damage, and in her second main phase, Liz casts Artisan of Kozilek using some lands, and brings back Kakusho. Liz then assesses the current state of my utility lands, and decides that with all the Sun Titan triggers I seem to get on my turn, anything she destroys will inevitably come back, so she passes to Adam. Adam plays an island for his turn, and casts Rush of Knowledge to draw 7 cards. Adam then casts an Assault Suit, which is just a fun EDH card when you don't care who your commander is attacking, and gears up Nezahal. Adam then casts Thassa, and makes Nezahal unblockable. He swings his Elder Dinosaur at me, and I die to a lethal Infect. With our hero dying, all hope falls to Liz to not let Infect win the day. Liz plays a Sulphurous Springs as her land for turn, and moves to combat. She swings everything at Adam, hitting him for 24 points of damage. Liz then casts Cut to deal 4 damage to Nezahal, and with Cut going to the graveyard, Liz is able to cast Ribbons where X is a lethal amount and kills Adam. Game review time. So, unfortunately, it seems like my Trostani deck doesn't seem to do very well when I don't have a forest in my opening hand. I do think it started to get going pretty well once I had access to green and a way to populate, and Mimic Vat certainly earned its keep in this game. The deck certainly still needs more testing though, and I need to fiddle with the mana base a little bit more. Adam's Nezahal deck drew a lot of cards, and it was kind of funny to see that he drew into both of his Infect cards. Plus, Nezahal has a special place in my heart, as he was the Elder Dinosaur that I was given for the EDH Lounge, and I did really well with him. But I'm sure Eric has stronger opinions on Nezahal than I do. I was very excited to see an experiment Kraj deck that wasn't built with restrictions, and it was interesting to see it get going, but unfortunately he didn't seem to have enough ways to deal with all the counterspells and Infect that was coming his way. I thought the inclusion of Ivy Lane Denizen was really powerful since it meant that every green creature was essentially able to give its ability to Kraj, since the Denizen could put the counter on the creature as soon as it came in. And last but not least, we had Liz playing her Rakdos deck in probably the least aggressive way I've ever seen Rakdos played. This isn't to knock it, since it obviously won her the game, and she played a very conservative match. If it were me on that side, I probably would have been dumping creatures left, right, and center, but Liz seemed to keep her cool and not want to commit too much to a board in fear of board wipes and thefts since she knows the meta a lot better than I do. I'd also never seen the card Cut to Ribbons being used, and she did it really well, so props to Liz. I definitely had a lot of fun at East Coast Gamers in Tom's River, so if you live nearby and want to be in a game, definitely look up on Twitter when I'm going next. Please be sure to tune in every Monday and Thursday at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time for a guaranteed new video. You can also follow me on Twitter at MTGMudsta. You can find me on Facebook at facebook.com/MTGMudsta. And lastly, you can check me out when I stream at twitch.tv/MTGMudsta. This video is brought to you in part by support from my Patreons. If you're looking for a way to help out the channel, please be sure to visit my Patreon link below. Thank you all for watching this video, and don't forget, friends are just opponents you haven't eliminated yet.